Welcome, language learners from all around the globe, to Listen Up, the podcast that takes you on a captivating voyage through the English language. Whether you've just started your journey or have been navigating the intricacies of English for some time, this podcast is designed to be your trusty compass, guiding you towards fluency and unlocking the wonders of English. I'm your host, Karen, a passionate traveller and an experienced teacher of English as a second language. Join me as we embark on an exciting expedition filled with British history read by a native speaker. Together, we'll conquer the challenges and celebrate the victories of learning English as a foreign language. Each episode of Listen Up will immerse you in a variety of topics, from aspects of British culture, history, and literature. We'll explore useful vocabulary that will empower you to communicate confidently in English. If you want to read along with the podcast, head to my website www.onepawinthesand.com/ESL. The link is in the description. But this podcast isn't just about learning English in isolation. It's about building a community of language learners, supporting one another, and fostering a love of the English language. I encourage you to engage with us through my Patreon page, where you can connect with fellow learners, ask questions, and share your own language journey. So, whether you're sipping tea in Tokyo, walking the streets in Sao Paulo, or studying in a bustling cafe in Berlin, Listen Up is here to accompany you on your quest for English fluency. Join me as we embark on this transformative expedition, where language becomes an adventure and your dreams of effective communication become a reality. Today's episode is called Great Train Robbery. In the year 1963, something happened in British history involving a big robbery called the Great Train Robbery. This robbery was very carefully planned and was very daring. Many people in the country were surprised when they heard about it. On this day, 8th of August 1963, a regular train that carried mail, money, and valuable things left Glasgow in Scotland and was going to London in England. This train travelled during the night. What people didn't know was that a group of robbers had a very clever plan to steal things from this train. This plan was so smart that it would become one of the most famous crimes in Britain. A man named Bruce Reynolds was the leader of this robbery. He was very experienced in crime and was really good at planning. He chose a group of skilled robbers, each with their own special skills. The group studied the train's path very carefully and came up with a tricky plan to make the train stop where they wanted it to. They put a fake signal on the tracks. When the train stopped, the robbers surprised the people who worked on the train and took a huge amount of money, £2.6 million, which is about £53 million today. This is one of the biggest amounts of money ever stolen in Britain. After taking the money, the robbers managed to escape from the police and hid in the countryside. They were very smart and careful, so they stayed free for a little while. But eventually, the police caught most of them, and they had to go to court and be punished for what they did. One of the robbers, Ronnie Biggs, escaped from prison and lived as a runaway for many years. Later, he gave up and went to prison for his part in the robbery. The Great Train Robbery had a big effect on the way people in Britain thought about crime and the police. The robbery showed that there were problems with how valuable things were protected during travel, and that some criminals could be very clever. After this happened, the country tried harder to make sure valuable things were safe when they were being moved around. Also, this robbery changed how people saw criminals. Some people thought the robbers were like heroes and talked about them that way in newspapers and on TV. This was a sign of how times were changing in the 1960s. People had different ideas about right and wrong, and this robbery was a big part of that change. And that wraps up another episode of Listen Up. I hope you enjoyed learning about my topic today and practicing your English. Remember, the exploration doesn't have to end here. If you have any lingering questions or want to continue the conversation, I've got some great opportunities for you. First off, I offer private lessons for those of you eager to expand your knowledge further, whether it's practicing today's subject or exploring other topics. I'm here to guide you on your English journey. Reach out to me through my website or social media platforms, and let's embark on a personalised learning experience together. I have been involved with training people for more than 10 years. I've been teaching English as a second language for over a year, in which time I have taught over 500 students, many of whom are regulars. But wait, there's more. If you're a devoted fan of Listen Up and want to show your support, consider joining our Patreon community. Your contribution directly helps us bring you more episodes and maintain the quality of our show. Your support truly means the world to me, and we couldn't continue this podcast without you. So whether you choose private lessons or Patreon, or both, I look forward to staying connected and exploring the fascinating realms of English as a second language together. Thank you once again for joining us on Listen Up. Until next time, keep practicing.